Hello and welcome. This is NTA Tuesday Live, and I'm Cyril Stober. Now, the All Progressives Congress, APC, came into being in 2013 following a successful merger of major opposition political parties and some aggrieved factions of the then ruling party, the People's Democratic Party, PDP. The political party thereafter held its first national convention that produced Chief John Oyegun as its national chairman. In 2017, fresh national executive members were elected during a convention that replaced the pioneer leadership with Comrade Adams Oshomole emerging as national chairman. But his administration was short-lived. In 2019, President Buhari intervened in internal wranglings that characterized the party and later constituted a caretaker and extraordinary convention national planning committee headed by Governor of Yobe State, Mai Malabuni, for an initial 6-month period, an assignment which was allotted extra time to return the party structure to order. Now, nearly 2 years later, the much anticipated convention is in the offing, as 26th March is now scheduled for the grand finale. Tonight, NTA Tuesday Live will look at some of the developments surrounding the convention and matters arising. But before we go into the conversation, let's get to see this report by political correspondent Salihu Gwanara.
There was anxiety amongst party faithful awaiting the position of the Governor Malabuni-led APC-CECPC on the proposed date to hold national convention.
We have agreed and approved. The convention's activities commence on the 24th of February and will terminate at Eagle Square, National Convention on the 26th of March.
The aspirants were accompanied by their supporters to the APC National Secretariat to submit their nomination and expression of interest forms. They all expressed commitment towards building APC as a politically rewarding institution that will sustain its ideology of good governance, being showcased across the country.
The success of this project starts from one's compliance with the directives and guidelines of our great party. I'm here to show my respect and deference to the leadership of the party.
It's President Muhammadu Buhari that is capable to resolve every crisis that we are having in the party. And his intervention, as you can see, had actually resolved all the crises.
The APC National Convention subcommittees on venue, security and election assured members of a smooth national convention.
We want to also ensure that the security will inspect the place and guarantee that there is adequate security for all the delegates and everybody that is coming here. Then the election committee is also here to tell us, to know where we're going to put people, how we're going to arrange the ballot boxes.
As party supporters count down days towards the exercise, preparation on all fronts are in top gear.
In a nutshell, it is the winning party, so that everybody is rushing, scrambling, that is why you have that. And if there is nobody, no hope, no future, who will scramble for the party?
Members to conduct ourselves in the most gentlemanly manner, and to the key actors, especially those contesting, they should know that it is what they are contesting is a family affair. At the end of the day, there will be a winner and there will be no loser. The winner remains our great party.
In Abuja, Salihu Gwanara, NTA News.
All right. That report sets the tone for tonight's discussion. We'd like to go straight on and introduce our guests. We'll welcome Honorable Benjamin Kalu, Chairman, the House of Representatives Committee on Media and Publicity. He is a member of the Media and Publicity Committee for the convention that's coming up on Saturday. Thanks for being with us here tonight.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right. Let me also welcome to this program Ibim Seminitari, who is also a member of the Media and Publicity Committee for the convention and a former managing director of the NDDC. Thanks for being with us tonight.
good to be here.
All right. Let me also welcome to this program Dr. Ray Murphy, also a member of the Media Publicity Committee for the convention. Thanks for being with us tonight.
Ms. Cyril, thank you. Thank you. Good evening, viewers.
All right, at some point in time during the program, we'll open the lines so you can get to join the discussion in the studio, but that would not be now. It would be much later. We'll acquaint you with the procedure we always do every Tuesday, so you can be part of the discussion in the studio, air your views, and ask your questions if you have them. Let me also at this point say we're being joined by the Honorable Farouk Aliu Adamu, a former minority leader of the House of Representatives, a businessman, and he joins us via Zoom. Thanks for being with us tonight.
Good evening, viewers.
All right. At some point in time, we'd like you to just adjust your sitting position. That's for Honorable Farouk Aliu Adamu. If you could just adjust your sitting position slightly so that we would have a clear view of you on the Zoom. So we'll return to you in a short while with some of the questions. But let's start off with Honorable Benjamin Kalu. Straight away, the first thing I'd say is, do you worry as a member of the APC that what ought to have taken place after 6 months is almost 2 years now before you could finally get it going?
Yeah, thank you very much. It's expected in a large political party like ours, that is the biggest in Africa, to once in a while have misunderstandings, such that you find in so many families, but we usually disagree to agree. And worried? No, I was not worried. I knew that the storm would settle at the right time. And I am so happy that we are stronger, we are united, we are together, we are formidable, though we are new. You know, when I heard you, read out how we started some 9 years ago, and if you consider that after 2 years of becoming a political party, we took over the nation, it took unity to achieve that, and after taking over the government, from then till now, the achievement that this government has made so far goes a long way to give us confidence that this party, if we come back together after the disagreement that is usual, that a lot is out there for Nigerians to enjoy. And that is why on the 26th, it's going to be a celebration of the achievement made so far, a celebration that we have a leadership that we are loyal to. One thing you cannot take from APC is that, there is a cohesion that flows from Mr. President, who is the father of the party. When he steps into a matter, you see everybody rallying around the single objective of the party, which is moving the nation forward. And that is our single agenda at the moment. And we are looking forward to a successful convention come on the 26th.
All right, we'll return to some of the issues that might be raised here. But let me go to the other members of the Media and Publicity Committee for this convention and put this question that even, would say almost up to the 11th hour, there were some doubts in some quarters that things would go on. Even the caretaker committee itself was somewhat embroiled in some kind of confusion until again the president had to step in. Now, how do you see that? Because the first thing to think about is, are you sure that without the influence of just one person, this convention would go straight on Saturday and the party can hold it together?
The first thing to say is all is well that ends well. And that's really what's exciting about it. The fact that we could get ourselves together, the fact that the APC remains one united family. Yes, so one man, that's good. It means that everybody's able to look up to someone. I think there's a sense of unity of purpose in that. So really for us, it's a question of all is well that ends well. The APC is going to have a convention on March 26th. Delegates are excited. Members of the party are excited. The APC is going to pick its leadership on the 26th of March. The Eagle Square is buzzing with activities already. You saw some of it. And indeed, delegates are already arriving at Abuja. So whichever way you look at it, the APC is one strong, united family and is ready to make progress.
All right, at the risk of sounding more like a broken record, let me say, yes, the road to Saturday was at best at times difficult, if not tumultuous. And it's possible that certain egos would have been bruised, certain people would have felt that they had the short end of the stick. Are you sure that as a party you have papered all over that and all members are now united like the Honorable and the last speaker said? This is for Dr. Ray Murphy.
It's very clear that in a political party you have some contestations. And those contestations end when everybody understands the issues. The recent issues of our party, I think, were really overblown. Every organization has processes. I think you refer to the last 2 weeks, where there were issues of who was in charge. And Buni said very clearly, Governor Buni said very clearly, that he had handed over power to his deputy, the governor of Niger State. And the Niger State governor, several times I heard him say very clearly that he was an acting chairman. And as soon as Buni came back, he took over. And the point is that all the misunderstandings were external, because when you saw them sit together, you saw friends sitting together. And as a matter of fact, the fact that we are sitting here today is very clear that a convention will hold. And the convention is the most important aspect of what we'll have to do to raise a new leadership for the party, to give it a new lease of life. So all the things that are being blown out, of course you know that in a political situation, those who don't want us to be in power, the other parties will begin to try to make mountains out of molehills. But the fact remains that APC is going ahead, the convention is going ahead, and clearly the fact that we're sitting in your studio today as members of a subcommittee of the convention says very clearly that APC.
All right, let's go over to Honorable Farouk Aliu Adamu, who joins us via Zoom. I do believe that he's right there. And straight away, we'll just ask your opinion of what do you make of all these? You yourself are a leading member of the APC.
Just like what my colleague said, you know, in politics, you can never take away interests, bickering, quarrels, and so on and so forth. So it's just normal. And that, just like what they said, we have settled, everybody has understood his ground, and that we found out that, look, if we don't come together, there will be problems. So we have decided as a people, as a party, that no victor, no vanquished. We'll go on, just like what my colleague said, to go and party on Saturday. Merrymaking, new leaders will emerge, and we'll forge ahead to continue to lead the country in a good stead.
All right, thank you very much. And so now we turn back to Honorable Benjamin Kalu and say, now's the time for us to know what is on ground. How prepared are you? You're a member of the Media and Publicity Committee, so let's hear you.
Yes, thank you very much once again. All the committees have been activated. The Finance Committee, to the Venue Committee, to the Publicity and the Media Committee. You can see us in the studio. In fact, we left our members in a meeting. They are still meeting as we came to have this conversation with you and to let Nigerians know that the convention has come to be. And the venue committee, they are busy preparing the venue as we speak. So those who are still doubting whether this convention will hold on the 26th, they should just drive past the Ego Square. They will see things happening there, rebranding of the place is going on. All the committees have been energized to make sure that the achievement of that particular 26 is something that all of us will be proud of. But I must also say this, that beyond the organization of the event, we are reaching out to stakeholders. The committee is not only interested in publishing this and that on newspaper. There's a lot of underground work going on to ensure that all the input from various stakeholders, because like, you mentioned about it being about one man, the president. No, we want to make it about every major stakeholder in the country that is part of APC, so that there will be an input from the stakeholders administration list that we have prepared, a course across all the stakeholders in the country, not discriminatory in any form, not regional. It is national in nature. So we're going to be traveling from one place to the other in the next few days, communicating with them and making sure we educate them on what we intend to achieve, about the convention and having their input as well. So it's a busy period for all the committees. All the committees are working round the clock to make sure we achieve the 26th deadline.
Just before I go over to the other members, how keen is the contest for the various positions? We see that, for instance, from media reports, one of those aspiring for the position decided to pull out, citing some arrangement. Are we going to see more of that?
Of course, you see, in any political party setting, there will be discussions. Some will agree to continue. Some will say, let's have a consensus. Let's, for one factor or the other. There are internal processes that will help if a particular position is zoned to an area and there is a consensus among the stakeholders there. Because it's an internal party affairs. You will see some dropping and some going on. But is it going to be democratic? Quite democratic. You can take my words to the bank, and when I say that the people contesting for the chairmanship of the party, they've been tripping, back and forth the National Assembly, trying to have a greater buy-in, explaining their manifestos. So it's not just going to be picking up any individual to be in that position. They are doing it as it is expected in the ethos of democracy, making sure that the stakeholders who are going to vote, the delegates, that they support them. So that engagement has been going on, and we are quite impressed with what is happening, because nobody is anointing anybody.
Okay, so
we just want it to be democratic.
There's no anointed.
No, we're not going to do it. It's going to be a purely democratic process. We are everybody, that participation, we want people to be involved, show us what you have. I was asking questions today when one of the candidates came, and he took his time to answer some of the questions. We felt that, we are germane to his aspirations. So that's the kind of party that we are all proud of, that people are given opportunity to express themselves and have people buy into the aspiration.
Okay, let's quickly go over to the other members. And yes, yours is just one of those committees. There are others. But in putting together and setting for Saturday, what are the challenges you think that you've been able to overcome, and things that might otherwise stand in the smooth execution of Saturday's convention?
Time. I mean, you really never have enough time to get the word out as much as you would like to. I mean, suddenly Saturday is upon us. Suddenly the 26th is upon us. And as people in the Media and Publicity Committee, one of the things we would like to do is be everywhere, tell everyone, have bonnets everywhere. So time is probably a challenge, and there's not much you can do about time. So we're trying to do the best we can within the short space of time we have to tell our story and tell it loudly. I think that would be perhaps the biggest. The other thing is everyone wants to be at this convention, and how we're going to be able to fit everybody into the space is probably going to be a humongous challenge. I mean, besides the delegates, people want to just come to observe the convention. People just want to come and party. People have not been together. COVID, all of those things happen. And when you talk about the fact that the Maybuni, committee had to stretch, don't forget they stretched because there was COVID. So within the space of COVID, even trying to get together to organize any elections would have been impossible. So people have had to deal with COVID. They've not had a gathering together, and politicians like to gather. They like to see each other's faces. So I think that too, the humongous challenge of how can we get everyone into Abuja? How can we manage the crowd at Eagle Square? I think those are some of the challenges that immediately come to the fore.
It's expected that, I'm still staying with you, it's expected that women will form a large force in this organization. And this is what everyone would like to know. How gender sensitive is the APC, especially as it builds to this convention?
One of the things, for instance, you would find is that the APC did say that for women who wanted to contest, they could get their forms at 50% of the cost. Do we have enough women contesting? Honestly, Cyril, I'll tell you, I'd like to see some more. And that's the truth. I wish we had a lot more. I'm a woman, and I certainly will be backing female candidates at the convention. But I think it would be great to have had a lot more people. I don't think we have enough yet. I think we should consider having more, and I'm sure that going forward we would have. But there's one beautiful something on that spectrum that I love. I like the fact, and I'm not going to call names, that we're having females contesting in hitherto purely male-dominated positions. And you will permit me not to name these positions because, of course, I cannot campaign for it.
That's okay, but we'll just put the question to Dr. Ray Murphy and say, look, are the people wrong to expect that the APC, being the governing party, would set the pace for just what we're talking about here in terms of getting more women's spaces into the party?
There's no doubt about that, and that is my position exactly. But there again, like I said, the women continue to face these upheavals across party lines. It's not an APC problem. Sometimes part of it is cultural, some of it is sociocultural. But that's what we continue to advocate, and we will continue to fight as women and also as men, because I know that my brothers in the studio here would always want to have more women.
All right.
So I'm sure that we're making some progress, perhaps a little slow, but we have you, Cyril. I've got Benjamin, I've got Ray. So we've got a lot of men who are backing us, and we'll continue to push for that.
All right. Dr. Ray Murphy, let's hear your views on this.
I remind her that out of the 5 subcommittees of the media committee, 3 are headed by women. She's one of the subcommittee heads. 2 other women head other subcommittees. 5. So 3 women, 2 men. So first of all, that is a major factor, major plus. APC is gender sensitive. APC is encouraging women just as it's encouraging those who have some disabilities. You of course know that women represent a very major aspect of our population. And if you go to polling units on election days, you find that women are actually more, and our party is doing a lot to ensure that women are included in what we're doing. And in that regard, I believe we are educating, encouraging men to give more spaces to women. So in that regard, we support them. Now, the other challenges that seem to face us is the simple fact that the other parties are trying to muddy the air. The fact is that we are going to have a major successful convention. Our convention is primed to be the best convention that APC has ever had. And this is because we are moving to the next phase of the electioneering process. We believe that the convention is going to be wonderful. All our governors are united. All stakeholders are united. The hiccups we had have been blown out of proportion. Simple truth. APC is stronger today than it ever was. It's more united today than it ever was. And the fact remains that no matter how you look at it, the other parties are just bickering. And we believe that Nigerians have come to realize that politics is a contestation. And a contestation would necessarily have a few hiccups. But importantly, at the end of the day, everybody works together and will produce a leadership that every member of a party will come to understand that came up through a democratic process. And of course, democratic processes may include consensus. That's why we're bringing all party men from every part of this country, who are delegates, who are stakeholders, who are leaders, to come and have a party in Abuja and to see the good works that APC is doing across the country. Thank you.
All right. We have other issues to raise, but we just like to say that we have reports, as usual, coming from other zones. And for now, we'll take this report from Ebonyi. Let's go on and take this report from Ebonyi.
For the defection of Governor David Umahi to the All Progressive Congress APC in 2020, the state had factional chairmen all laying claim to the position. This kept the party in crisis without much impact.
Since the coming in of the governor in the party, which you know too well, you news journalists knew what it used to be, the house is now more organized, more focused, and more determined.
However, there seems to be a change in status quo, as the party now has only one chairman, recognized by all stakeholders. Since then, the party has grown in breadth and width in the state, bringing together all stakeholders under one umbrella. With the national convention around the corner, the party leadership and stakeholders are not leaving anything to chance, as they agree to field consensus candidates in line with party guidelines.
And the national leadership of the party, it's zoned and then micro-zoned. The one that has been ceded to Southeast is what the leaders of the party, they agreed and then do micro-zoning. Micro-zoning, Ebonyi got 2 positions. The 2 positions are the national treasurer of the party and then the zonal secretary. And then as such, mind you, it has to do with a guideline. As a family, we decided to agree on a consensus. And as such, every member, you see, it was a SEC meeting, every member, after the long deliberations of the State Working Committee, we came down to the NEC meeting, and then it was ratified that yes, we will go on consensus. And as such, everybody was happy.
We use the opportunity to congratulate that National Working Committee led by His Excellency Buni and all members of the National Working Committee for how they were able to win and achieve themselves together to weather the storm and all the attacks, both left, right, and center, to destabilize them. Today, they are still attacked and they are showing us that they will be peaceful, well-coordinated, and best convention that ever held in this country on particular.
These, according to them, will further strengthen the party structure as they expressed optimism of a better support in 2023 general elections.
The meeting today is to lay the foundation for winning our elections in 2023. You can see inside the hall, everybody have come out smiling, no rancor, no squabble, because the presentation was cordial. The 2 persons already nominated are qualified, and we trust them.
Yes, I am very much satisfied. And so if we can get it done very well, then we should go to the rural areas and ensure that positions are given to those party people. When I say party people, I mean those that know what it means to ensure that things are done the right way.
The State Executive Committee meeting may have come and gone, but resolutions reached will keep resonating because this is the first time the party in the state is unanimously adopting consensus candidates at the convention.
All right, from Ebonyi, we go to Kaduna, where we have another report coming in.
Preparations are heightened among members of the All Progressive Congress in Kaduna who are getting set to attend the party's national convention in Abuja. It is the highest political gathering of the party where critical decisions that affect the future are arrived at.
All that matters is Nigeria and the youth of Nigeria to progress. And I think it's APC that can do that. It is APC that can move Nigeria to the next level. We are fully ready to go for the convention coming Saturday, God willing.
It is an elective convention where new leadership of the party will emerge.
Under the leadership of the able governor, Mala Nasur Ahmed El-Rufai, and all party members in Kaduna are with him 100%. Whatever he said, we are with him, and we are ready. Wherever he goes, we go together. So we are ready for the convention. Wherever our leaders say we should follow, we will follow.
We are waiting for the time to go and choose our national leaders, which on Saturday 26th, by God's grace. All the crises that you know, now they are already resolved.
This is part of what is expected and will make the party strong to face future elections.
We are going to have a hitch-free convention, and that is why some other people, even if they were contracted, to deal with the party negatively, they believe it's not possible because we are now one. We are going to have a free and fair convention.
Members of the party in Kaduna say they will continue to support the party to win all elections.
Eye on 2023, right, Honorable? And, well, there are issues about that. You look towards the governing party that is trying to put its house in the best position to go to 2023. One of them, of course, is the question of the zoning formula. How acceptable has the APC been able to make this within its ranks?
Yeah, first of all, I want to re-echo what the report from the various states said. It's a positive report, I must say that. You could see, genuine joy, happiness, the confidence in the party. And that is very important to us from the national level, to see our people at Ebonyi State, Kaduna State, and if you have more report from other states, you will see the enthusiasm that is there because they want to choose new set of leadership. And having said that, it is also important to know that the current leadership, they are giving all the cooperation that is needed for the new leadership to emerge. They are not antagonizing any process. They are giving great support to make sure that 26 will be a successful day. Having said that, the zoning issue, we have handled it from the internal mechanisms of the party. And as it is, we can move along with it. We are happy with it. And we are sure with what we have in mind, what we have put in place, the strategies we have laid down, that 2023 national election will be a successful one for APC. The wishful thinking of opposition would not come to light because they had wished that APC will make mistakes here and there. They had wished that the division will continue in the party, disunited, but we've decided to be one formidable, strong, united party that sees ourselves as a family, that sees ourselves as those who could sit around the table and reconcile on any issue that we might have had before now. So that is an advantage for us. And the convention is a marketing tool towards 2023. Marketing tool because they are going to see a display, an expression of unity in diversity. They are going to see the increase in the confidence level of the members of the party. And it's going to be a platform that will encourage those who are still sitting on the fence to hop in and join this formidable party that is going to be in charge for the next 8 years from 2023. So we are very confident that what we are going to have on the 26th will be a door opener for the greater aspiration of our party to continue giving good governance to this country, which the evidence are everywhere. I'm sure I'm going to be back to this studio to catalog the achievements of the party for these 6-7 years we've been involved. But let me not fail to mention from the House of Rep that I speak for. Never have we had it that the Parliament will set the calendar of the budget correctly. It was through APC government that we were able to achieve that, to enable the private sector, the public sector to do their economic projection annually, early enough, so as to avoid the economic losses that comes with the calendar not being in place, and also to align it with the constitutional provision that say it must be aligned January to December. And having said that, let us also mention that proudly we achieved the PIB that refused to become PIA for donkey years. It was like a monster. But the APC government, through the cooperation of the executive and the legislature, were able to get that out of the way. Electoral reform, has been the yearning of every Nigerian, to make sure that we clean up the space and make sure it is more transparent, more inclusive, more competitive, more fair, more credible. And it is only through the amendment that we have made that is going to be achieved. That is why everybody is now hopeful with the new introductions that we have put in the Electoral Act. Are we talking about the constitutional review that has received the blessing of both the executive and the legislature, and we are pushing it, the highest, deepest, most versatile review of the Constitution, having about 68 reviews. So more is in the pipeline, and this government need to continue from where we start.
All right, now that you speak about it, even though it's not directly related to the convention, now that you speak about it, what the APC has been able to do, given its strengths in the legislature and having the presidency, there's this other controversial matter, which I'm sure would resonate at this convention. It has to do with the question of consensus, direct primaries. Which of these systems are you a product of?
I came in through direct primaries. Okay. And in the wisdom of the party, in the wisdom of the legislature, we decided to make sure that we increase the platform. Whether it is indirect primaries, you are welcome. No excuses. Whether it is direct primaries, you are welcome. No, if your party decide to have a consensus, which will be, which will cost the party less, go ahead for it. So we have not pigeonholed any form of selection process, which to us is quite democratic. So the platform is open for more participation, because it's a participatory democracy, and we want to open up the options so that nobody will have an excuse. And I can assure you, it is going to advance our democracy, because in it, the ethos of our democracy, the principles of democracy, they are not lacking. They are not found wanting in those platforms that we have created, under the also inspiration of the Mr. President, who insisted that we should adjust. And I've always said this time and again, that the Parliament and the Executive, they are not trying to engage themselves in an ego trip, where, though the doctrines of separation of power must be maintained at all times. We know the parameters of the mandate of the Constitution with regards to our functions. Having said that, if we see a particular step that we have taken that either was too far or too short, and it is being highlighted either by the executive or the citizens of the country, we are so people-oriented that we retrace our step to make sure that the desires, the wishes, the hunger, the needs of the people are brought to the center stage in our conversations and in the piece of legislative interventions that we always issue for the hydra-headed needs of our country.
All right, let's go over to Ibim Military. And so we do expect that with this convention coming up, we're going to see issues of consensus, and yes, issues such as consensus candidates. We're going to see some of those playing out, right?
People might come together and say, okay, listen, would like to have this person go. We just listened to Ebonyi State, where the state itself, got together and decided that there were two people who they thought should go for them as consensus candidates. However, the party has not closed the door to candidates who want to contest for any positions. So there's no situation where anybody has been stopped from contesting for anything. I think that the beauty of democracy is that people will horse trade. I mean, politics is about horse trading, isn't it? So there's going to be horse trading. People will give some, and take some. It's a game of give and take. So you will have instances where there will be give and take. You will have instances where there will be contest. The important thing is that we're all coming to this convention convinced that we're still one party, regardless of our interests. So two people may contest for position and one person will win. The other person is still a winner because it is one party. So we're never going to have a situation where because people contested, they'll go their separate ways, daggers drawn. No. What we're talking about is an APC where everyone is united, focused on one goal. And that goal is to deliver a convention that is beautiful. That goal is to have a party that is stronger, that is better, that is more united, and that is making progress.
All right, speaking of horse trading, which you just raised now, a lot of that is expectedly going on behind the scenes. I'd like to put this question to Dr. Ray Murphy. A lot of maneuverings right there behind the scenes, people jostling to put their best foot forward and clear the coast for whatever positions they have in mind. But there's this thing I'd like you to speak on. The APC, we agreed, is a result of a merger, and it would seem there are still some interest groups from those parties that made up the APC. How much of this is playing out in the contest for the various positions? We hearing things like, no, this was what those who came in from the old CPC brought to the table, so it's now our turn to get this from the party, or this is what those from the old ACN brought to the party, and it's time for us now to get paid.
The beauty of this is a merger is a sort of a marriage. And when you have a marriage, they say that two have become one. So obviously, those tendencies may be some relics of memory. The fact remains that in the last 7-8 years, APC has become one party. And it's very clear that those who are trying to do that are trying to use all the normal tactics of divide and conquer. APC is a party. There are tendencies within it. There's no section of the APC using that parameter that will be able to win at a convention without incorporating other sections. So those who are playing on that, I think, are people who are not are trying to use that as a leverage. But please permit me, when you spoke about zoning, I'd like to tell our people, our partymen and the nation that what we did at the recent zoning is to reverse. All the positions that were in the north were reversed to the south, and all the positions that were in the south came to the north. The zoning is very nice, very equitable. Every state, every zone got a basket of positions that gave them between 3 to 4 members in the National Working Committee. And there's no zone that has complained of marginalization. So first and foremost, every zone of the country is happy about the zones. Then they have the micro zoning. You give a basket of positions to a zone. They go back as leaders. You saw just them say it at Ebonyi. Go back to the zone, break it up into states. Then states break it up into their local governments, their central districts, and all of that. So first, our zoning is wonderful. No state is marginalized. Positions are being reversed. Back to the issue of legacy parties. Of course, there were legacy parties, but I mean, it's taken so many years. People have gotten together, and those who are still talking about legacy parties, I think, are just simply trying to stir up some emotion to their advantage, and that is obviously natural. that people want to take advantage of the situation. So APC is united. Remember, our theme is united, strong, together. And legacy parties, they're historical fact. But as I said, when there's a marriage, 2, 3, 4 have become one.
Interestingly, you talked about reversing these positions and taking those that were in the north to the south, and could that be a pointer to what might happen in the bigger picture towards 2023?
Simple facts are that the nation expects that every part of this country will have a sense of belonging. And that is why you have federal character, first of all, in the Constitution. You have the concept of affirmative action that allows the small states, the small groups, to have a share of power so that there will be less acrimony in the system. Obviously, we believe, we know, we understand that by zoning chairman right now to the north and zoning secretary to the south, we are reversing. And that reversal will affect all positions that come from the party positions and elected positions that the party sponsors. So yes, that is an indicator of the big picture come 2023.
Honorable, let's hear you on that.
Yeah, I totally agree with him because it is important to increase the cohesion and the loyalty, both in the party as well as the nation. The reason being that when you increase the inclusive element in any electoral process, you have a greater buy-in. People tend to trust the system the more and give their loyalty freely without any form of coercion. And that is what is needed. You know, participatory democracy is not under coercion. It is a willing participation based on the fact that you believe that your interests will be captured, protected, preserved. So if our party, in our wisdom, decided to apply that as a strategy for the sole purpose of increasing cohesion and loyalty, I think it's a step in the right direction. And if the nation at large applies that, because like he says, it is important that you give every part of the nation, especially as we are, you know, an emerging democracy. It's something new to us. 20 years or thereabout is not too long a time. People want to test it and know how it feels. So if you give them that sense of inclusiveness, you know, it will make them yield to the principles of this new form of governance, you know, that have been embraced by the advanced democracies that we copy around the world. I think it will work in the nation. If we take it to the larger picture in 2023 and believing that the power has been in one side for some time, it should go to the other side. If we adopt that as a strategy and support that with the machineries of the party, I can assure you that also it will bring a big harvest.
As a party man, let me ask you this. How do you respond to the feeling that the party's governors are the almighty who tweak around with every decision and twist it to their own advantage? And if that is the case, if that is true, how do you think they respond to this issue of zoning? What if they as a bloc decide otherwise? That's if it's true. I'm not saying it is. We just hear these things.
You know, it is important to not to undermine the strength of the governors.
Right.
Even from the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the coming together of the governors, some of them are even more powerful, you know, compared to the single office of the president, you know. But there is an understanding in our party. There's a great understanding. And when I talk about loyalty, we have a father of the party, President Muhammadu Buhari, that we respect. You know, he has the magic that when he steps in like a father who has earned our respect, You know, he's not like force. He's no longer wearing military uniform. So it's not through coercion. It's not through, command. It is through persuasion that we need to leave legacies that will reflect that we believe in democracy. You will see a buy-in from the governors, and that is what is happening. The governors might have a different opinion, but do you know that yesterday or day before yesterday, all the governors came together and they decided to move according to the desire and the objective of the party. And they are meeting again maybe by tomorrow with Mr. President. And it is to show that consolidated loyalty, that cohesion, which the naysayers have always believed that it was not going to be obtainable. But we believe in our governors. They are reasonable governors. We believe in our governors. They are governors who know that we need to grow the party. They are governors who believe that the more we advance our party, the more their own interests will be advanced. So they are not self-centered. And all their approaches are not self-serving. They want to preserve the party. And we want to thank them for, agreeing with the leadership of the party to move. Look at, just like the example that my colleague gave there, Dr. Ray. Is when our current chairman came back, they made up with the deputy chairman of the steering committee, the governor of Niger State. No rancor, no acrimony. It was a smooth sail. And that has given, life, a new air, for the party to breathe. And every other governor have keyed into it. And it's a success for APC, I must say that. And the naysayers, what is going to happen on 26 will put a nail on the coffin that will bury all the aspiration against the ruling party in Nigeria. So we are very hopeful that our party is strong, united, and ready together to continue the good work we are doing for the people of Nigeria.
All right, let me go over to the other members of this Media and Publicity Committee. And this is a straightforward and simple one. What are the feelers that you're getting from the party faithful across board? It would seem at one point in time that the kettle was on the boil, and then suddenly we find that there's not been much happening about dissenting opinions. Is that as a result of having truly taken care of that aspect of it, or is it what we call the calm before the storm?
Actually, a lot of excitement. I mean, people are excited that they're going to come together. No. This is not the calm before the storm. This is actually real calm. There is a lot of, the APC speaks with one voice. It really is a party that speaks with one voice. And yes, in a family, there would be dissensions. But the important thing is the family comes back together and say, you know what? I think your point, I get your point here, and I get your point there. And then everyone works together to achieve the common purpose of that family, which is to make progress. And I think that's what you're seeing. So you're not hearing dissensions because people are actually looking forward to 26. People are already, some are in Abuja, many are preparing to come in. By tomorrow, Abuja will be agog with activities. So no, it isn't a calm before the storm. It is actual calm. It is excitement. It is a group of people who are united, who really want their party to be stronger, be bigger, be better. It's a group of people who are progressives. And really for us in the APC, there's only one way to go, and that way is forward.
Well, Dr. Ray Murphy, in 2017, I think, it was a similar feeling across board, and the party membership seemed to be all united and focused on installing an executive. But that was short-lived, wasn't it? What lessons have you learned from that as a party? And, well, what do you say to watchers of the political scene who say it might just happen again like it did and lead to the same situation where you have a caretaker committee in charge for almost 2 years?
politics is about evolution of ideas, ideals, thoughts. People learn their lessons. People learn good governance, learn civics. That's what politics is. You know, that era you refer to arose out of many things. Some of it is a function of the character of the individuals who were concerned. Some of it, you know, based on mismanagement of opportunities. And as an organization that is alive, you will eject or reject things in your system that's not working for you. That does not mean that you keep going through the same processes. The fact is very simple. APC has learned certain lessons from some of these incidents. And I can tell you that the mood of the party today is different from the mood of the party then. I can also tell you that because of the fact that 2023 is around the corner, there's a lot more carefulness, a lot more interest, a lot more willingness to make things work. And then the party is being extremely careful about the kind of individuals that we will vote into certain offices. A democratic party needs people who have a democratic mindset, who have a listening ear, who are ready and willing to accommodate dissenting views. Those are some of the challenges that we had at the time where you know, some practice that didn't seem very democratic that led to that. I can tell you today, like when you spoke about the governors, the fact is that the governors too, every system matures with time. Every system matures. The governors of our party have realized that by pulling together, they make the party stronger. They're not pulling together to subvert the will of membership of a party. They're not pulling together to subvert the will of the elite leadership of a party. They're pulling together to make the party stronger. And that is why some of those who are outside our party do not understand. The symbol of the APC is a broom. Broomsticks put together become a broom bunch and can sweep. So I can tell you, Cyril, that where we are now is a better position than where we were before. And our party men are so excited. Like my sister said here, you know that COVID has kept us indoors for a while. We're looking for an opportunity to come into Abuja, to be happy together, to learn from our mistakes, to network with ourselves on how to make this country greater than it has ever been. There are challenges, no doubt. There are challenges in the processes, there are challenges in the systems, there are challenges, I mean, look at the war in Ukraine, is affecting everything. But the fact remains that when you fall, you get up and keep moving. It's only a man who is drunk that falls and stays down. So, in a nutshell, we've learned our lessons from that era. This is going to be clearly democratic. This convention is going to be clearly democratic. I can tell you, as I sit here, that screening is going on right now, screening of members, aspiring members of the National Working Committee is going on right now in the Castina Lodge, because Castina Governor is the chairman of the screening committee. And despite the zoning, people have been allowed to be free to buy forms. So sometimes they zone something to say North Central, and you have people in Northeast buying forms, people in Northwest buying forms. That's democratic. Again, you pointed out about the gentleman, I'm sure you're referring to Amadou Sharif, who stood down in consonance with the zoning arrangement. So different strokes for different people. But I can tell you that the APC of today is better equipped to deliver good governance to Nigerians. And you can trust us on that, Cyril.
All right, we'll take a short break here. When we return, the phone lines will be open, and that means you can get to be part of the discussion in the studio. Stay with us on NTA Tuesday Live. We'll be back shortly.
I am more than just an idea. I am alive, connected. I am part of an ecosystem, creating connections within an interactive and sustainable city. I am intentional about excellence, integrity, and efficiency. I am invested in building a sustainable future. I am committed to strategic partnerships and collaborations. I can be tough. And I can be tender. I take pride in delivering high standards. While there may be others, I am in a league of my own. I just an idea. I am the Lord. Who are you?
157-kilometer Lagos-Ibadan Railway is the first double-track standard gauge railway to be built in West Africa. The Mobolaji Johnson train station is a masterpiece, an infrastructure that is gradually becoming an iconic building in Lagos State. The modern facilities put the station on a world map of train stations. Likewise, other new train stations across the country built to world-class standards. The train and its convenience is indeed an admirable effort, with commendations from Nigerians.
This is a station that we have to commend the federal government for putting a beautiful face, empowering us in Lagos State, not only in economic and political arena.
I can say that I'm really impressed with the infrastructures in place. Kudos to the Minister of Transportations. Kudos to the federal government.
Truly, good things are coming out of Nigeria, and the federal government is deserving of all the applause.
NTA Tuesday Live, a network issue-oriented innovation talk show.
Thanks for staying with us. Now, this segment is when you get to join in the conversation. We always remind you of the procedure every Tuesday, and that is if you're calling in tonight and your call gets through to the studio, do us a favor. Turn down the volume of your TV set. That's the only way to avoid this hurlback or the echo. And we also encourage you to go straight to the point. Don't spend time on greetings. A simple hello is enough. You don't have that luxury of going on because sometimes the lines might be erratic and you might just have a dropped call. So keep the greetings short. And also, we encourage you to go straight to the point so others can also get on the platform and air their views. So the numbers will be on your screen. You can take advantage of them. Right, we start off with another of our reports, this time from Lagos.
Despite disagreements that brought about scramble for positions, the All Progressives Congress APC in Lagos State is still a formidable force. Party faithful say the dispute has been resolved with the emergence and inauguration of members of the state executive on March 14, 2022. Piloting the affairs of a state APC for the next 4 years is the core function of the executive.
Party chairman of Lagos State APC.
The party has also adopted an inclusive and accommodating structure.
In Lagos, we have always been overcoming whatever problems that we have. It always happens during conventions or congresses. And after that, everybody fall back to position because we have to defend the interests of the party.
I'm an Igbo man in Lagos State, being one of the leaders in Lagos. So Lagos State accepts almost every tribe. You have an Hausa man in the system, you have an Ijaw man in the system, you have a guy from Edo in the system. What we want is to carry everybody along.
As the national convention draws near, loyalists expect more negotiations and reconciliatory talks among the APC leadership for progress of the party.
Inshallah, that convention will come in peaceful way.
We believe that the APC have come to stay, and all those leaders that make APC stand, they are leaders that we can trust, and they are leaders that we can beat our chest for.
Since 2015, the APC has been at the helm of affairs in Lagos State.
All right, we have a very first caller on the line, calling in from Rivers State. Chimeze, go ahead.
Hello.
Hello, go ahead.
Good evening, everybody.
Yes, good evening, go.
I I'm Chimezie calling from River State. Please, I want to ask the invited guest. Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I want to ask the invited guest. Since the zoning of the national chairman is zoned to the north, I want to know the presidency, where do we zone it? Is it still the north or the south?
All right. Thank you very. Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much. Well, all three of our guests are members of the Media and Publicity Committee. So,
yeah, like we discussed a few minutes ago, and we said cohesion is very important. National loyalty is very important for national unity, and balancing of leadership equation will always enhance that. And the party is practicing it now. But when it comes to the presidency, it will not be good to preempt it, because it will take the internal workings of the party to decide that. But I'm sure when we get to that bridge, we will cross it. So let's focus on the convention at the moment, and the strategies that we've laid down, which everybody has embraced. I'm sure when we get to that presidency also, the party will bring out a strategy that will be embraced by all, and it will keep increasing our loyalty and our cohesion. So that's what I have to say about that.
okay, all right. So, Chimezie from River State, your question answered. Yes, we're back to the phones, and oh, okay, all right. Okay, as we are with the calls, let's go over to Dr. Ray Murphy and ask. Yes, what do you have to add to that? The question of where the presidency goes to.
Has rotated positions. Straight to the point. The APC, if you look at the template of positions that have been moved to the south, is the same template that has been in the north. And the ones in the north today has been in the south. My simple elementary logic tells me that that template covers every position that is likely to come under the bouquet of the APC, except if something goes wrong. But with my knowledge, my understanding, and the facts of what I know that is going on, it is more than likely that, like, to build the cohesion we're looking at, to build a united country that we're looking at, it is more than likely that the APC presidential space will go to the south. Thank you.
All right. Back to the phones now. Emeka is calling in from Imo State. Hello, Emeka. Go ahead. Emeka from Imo State, are you with us?
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is Emeka from Imo State. Yeah. Okay, please. I'm confused about the party leader in Imo State for now, because I understood that the chairman, the former governor, has interest, and the former governor also has interest, and present governor has interest. So I'm yet to understand who is the APC chairman in Imo State.
Well, okay. So, did you get that? Okay,
well,
right.
I think what he was trying to ask, Emeka was asking, it appears we have two interests playing out there at the Imo State APC, where the sitting governor has his own team and the former governor has his own team. Who is the leader or who is in charge of the party there? It is important to note that congresses were conducted around the nation, and the national office of the party has a list of those that has been qualified as the executives of the party across the states. That does not mean that you will not have a little misunderstanding here and there, but I'm sure before the convention, some of these issues will be tidied up within the state. It's not only in Imo State. I think the same thing is happening in Abia State, where there are some dissenting opinion that granted that Congress have been done. This is what we want. So some of those things will be tidied up completely wherever they are, and some people will be made to queue in to what unifies us more than what separates us.
Okay, back to the phone lines from Bauchi. We have Tajuddin calling in. Hello, Tajuddin. Go ahead.
Hello, good evening.
Evening.
Okay, mine is I'm concerned about the cost of aspiration for reform. The HPC administration is saying it's fighting corruption every day, but with what we saw on the media about the cost, I think it's too much for young people like me to participate in party politics. And it is worrisome that there is a lot of crisis right from World Congress to state level. So what is the party doing to ensure that all the issues is addressed before the forthcoming general election?
All right. Thank you very much, Tajuddin. Let's put that straight to Ibim Seminitari and say, yes, question of cost of forms. He's raising an issue about that, and perhaps that would also tie into a question I'd ask you after you answer this one.
I hear what you're saying about the cost of the forms, especially for young people who want to aspire. I think that is a matter that is legitimate. I mean, you raise a legitimate question, regardless of the fact, however, that unfortunately, when you do have to go for these things, those who have to contest do have to spend quite a tidy sum. I think, again, that those are things that, when we come together collectively, we can have a conversation around. This is the cost for this time. With people like you raising that concern, I'm sure that's something that can be looked at again, not for this election for sure, because the forms have been bought. But that's a conversation I think we can have in our party going forward. Because the young people will say, listen, for us young people, I do know, however, that the party did something. They did say that for certain categories of persons or for certain demographics, to ensure inclusion, can we reduce prices? So whether we're talking about vulnerable persons or persons, with certain situations or certain demographics, or because they wanted to open up the space to more women, they wanted to, give 50% of the cost of funds in those situations. With regards to the conflicts that have occurred, we've got to understand that we're in a political space. So there will be agitations, there will be conflicts. The important thing is that when we have those conflicts, we're able to resolve them. And part of that is what is playing out. I mean, there were issues before. People thought, this convention will never hold. When various parties, people are going their separate ways. But what are we seeing? Everyone is coming together and saying, you know what? We're one party. We're united for progress. We're looking in one direction. We need to get our act together. And so suddenly you're finding people talking to each other. You're finding people who had different interests saying, you know what? On the matter of having a party that is going to win elections, we are one party. Because we want to ensure that there's progress in our country, we are one party. So people are resolving those conflicts, and the party had set up a lot of reconciliation committees. So I think we're beginning to see resolutions and things are falling in place in terms of resolving some of the conflicts.
Okay, from Abia, we'll return to you shortly, but from Abia, we have a caller, Mandy. Hello, Mandy, go ahead.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Hello?
Go ahead, Mandy from Abia. Good evening.
Yeah, first of all, let me say a big good evening to my brother, Mr. Ben Carlo.
Yes, go ahead.
Hello. Yeah, Mr. Ben. I greet my brother.
Thank you.
All the same, well, I wish the APC part the best of the convention, and I pray the convention went well, just like the election went well and not where I came from, because I happen to be a native of Amokuitem. So I pray that you guys will do it in a very peaceful wonderful way. So the best candidate who happens to emerge of the party will be the people's choice. Not as if a sort of mandate for people to vote for somebody. The convention be allowed to go in a very wonderful and peaceful way so that people could express their advantage, their right, and vote for that candidate. I think for me that's the best way to move this country forward. And that's the best way to change the nation and to guarantee that the 2028 election will be free and fair. So I wish you guys the best of luck and have a wonderful convention. And to you, my brother, Mr. Ben, I wish we see you one day face to face once again in Amoku. Take care of yourself.
All right. Thank you very much, Mandy. Yes, we expect more calls to come in and questions or comments, views on the issues at stake, and our guests here would be willing to respond to such issues as you might raise. Let me quickly go back to the question of the cost of the forms that Tajuddin talked about. It says as a young person, and I'm saying, as with the challenge for young people, same for women. What would you say to that?
I don't know. You know, I always have a problem when women and young people are put in the same frame because they're not quite the same thing. I think the point is about people who have access to certain funds. I'm not sure that women and young people must be put in the same frame. I think it's something that just happens in our minds. And I think, so I'll just like to say no. But again, yes, I do understand the fact that not everyone has access to be able to pay for funds, for the forms, with the prices. But here's something. There are a lot of women that say to you, we're not asking you to cut down the cost of forms for us. We're saying that, oh, you know what, just give us a bit more space so that people can participate. So I think the argument from the gender perspective is not about the cost, it's about an affirmative action that says, let's create more space and have more women in that space. I'm sure that women can bunch up together and pay for forms for one of our own if we have to. So I'm not sure that's the problem. But I hear what Tajuddin says about the high cost of elections. And that's really going to the longer conversation about the cost of elections in our country, generally speaking, whether it's at the point of taking the forms or the kind of money parties need to spend. Again, it's about the electorate too, because the reason parties have to collect the funding is because there are administrative costs to run. It's because they have to go on TV and they have to advertise, and advertising costs money. It's because they have to have live coverages, and live coverages cost money. It is because funding must come from sources, and those sources would include the dues paid by members of the party. It would include the forms bought by members of the party. So, it's really a whole long conversation about the cost of elections. And that really is it. So you don't want to just put a thumb on one thing, which is the cost of forms, which I agree sometimes could be prohibitive. But quite frankly, you've got to look at the bigger picture, which is the entire gamut of cost of elections. Moving people, paying for things, paying for airtime, and every other thing, paying for billboards.
Okay.
So there is quite some cost to this, and it could be quite debilitating for a political party that doesn't want to put its hands in the tail.
All right. We have this call coming through. Emeka, could it be the same Emeka who called a short while ago? They say Emeka from Imo. Is that the same or another?
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Okay.
Yeah. Please, this APC of a team, their convention, I wish them well. But another question I want to ask. These people, they want to handle their affairs of their party Are they able to? Maybe next election, maybe they win the next election. Are they able to bring things down? Things are very, very costly. Things are very, very costly. I don't know whether maybe this election you people will do now. Maybe you people will help us to bring things down. Let you people try to put nice people to handle affairs of this party so that Nigeria will not be suffering like this. Do you know how much they say a bag of rice? Do you know what we are going into here? Even in Imo State, we don't come out on Monday. We have a security, everything. Please, you people should try to put honest leaders that will make things nice, that will make price stable. We don't have stable price in this country. Today, you buy something 10 naira, tomorrow it's 100 naira. So we are suffering. That's the question I want to ask, please.
All right, Dr. Ray Murphy, perhaps we should let you handle this. Raising concerns. These people you're going to put in, elect into positions, are they capable of addressing the critical challenges Nigeria faces today?
Cyril, and thank you, Emeka. But still permit me to go back to the issue of crisis that some young man had earlier raised. Let me start from there. Congresses in the states. The APC, like every democratic process, when you have a Congress, you have an appeal committee to the Congress. So everywhere where we had the Congresses, we had appeal committees for where there are issues. I am privileged to have been chairman of appeal committee to a couple of states. So I understand the processes. You have legitimate complaints. It is handled at the appeal level. And then when the appeal situation is sorted out, when the inauguration of the new executive is coming on, the party structure still looks at the issues and then comes out with reconciliation committees. Abdullahi just led one. So there were crises, I agree. Once there are elections, but the fact is that we have mechanisms for ending that. That's one. Now let's go to the issues that he raised. First of all, as a political party, we are looking for the best men that we can find. We have set up processes for the best capable hands we can find to help run the political party and then run the country. But in every situation, you must look at things that happen in the country in the context of the world. The overall situation in the world today, I mean, I was watching the TV and I saw protests in countries like, Croatia. They were talking about fuel costs. So the problems of Nigeria are not exclusive to the country. But I must say that the evolution of our political processes will keep getting right as we go down the line. That's what I have to say. But APC is looking for the best capable people. And on this note, I ask Emeka and other people who have an interest in the well-being of this country to come join us. Because you can't really sit in your house, if you want to go to the farm. If you want to have a harvest, you come out to the farm. So let them come out. Let us work together to make our country better. Thank you.
Okay, we have calling in from Edo State, Obi. Hello, good evening. Go ahead.
Good evening. Good evening.
Go ahead. Good evening.
I'm Obi Francis, calling from Edo State. Are this APC, are they really ready for an election? The man talking, is this killing the economy? Nobody's happy. Everybody's angry. A liter of diesel now, 750 naira. Where are we going to? Everywhere kidnapping. What type of election are we going to hold? Things are so bad. The APC is not ready for anything. They should, a better candidate should come and handle the situation. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Honorable Benjamin Kalu, want to respond to the issues raised by Yobi from Edu?
Yeah, first of all, I want to thank all the people who have been calling in. It shows that you are interested in nation building. That is a display of patriotic spirit coming from all of you. And I'm very impressed that most of the names I've had there are my brothers. And I encourage more of you to show interest in participatory democracy. It's is very important, including Mandy, who called from my constituency, who is my constituent. I'm happy you called, wishing us well in this coming convention, because you have tested the dividends of democracy. What the present government has done for the people in Abia State is unprecedented. The amount of projects that have been approved by Mr. President, which are all ongoing, some have been completed around the federal constituency, has never happened in the history of our democracy. That is the beauty of APC, and that is why we want it to continue. With this convention, like the gentleman called, I felt it in your voice, the anger, that things are expensive and you need the kind of leadership that will spin things around economically. And like Dr. Ray said, Nigeria is not isolated from the impact of the COVID, economic crisis around the globe. Nigeria is not isolated at all. And it will be living in fool's paradise for us to feel that we are insulated from the impact of the economic crisis that was occasioned not by bad governance, but by, the act of God, which was beyond any government strategy. And I must give it to APC government that we tried to weather the storm. President Buhari and the team tried to weather the storm. Many had expected that it would be worse than this. But the issue is that we bounce back, earlier than people expected. We bounce back better than people expected. What would have happened if it was worse than this? And I can tell you, if it was the opposition that was in power with the amount of corruption that was in place by the time we came on board, I can assure you that Nigerians will be singing a different story today. Give it to this administration. They met a very bad rot in the system, which they are trying to pack out and clean up. And it takes time. And in the process, we have put instruments in place that will be able to clear up all these problems we're talking about. And let this point be taken home. Members of APC are citizens of this country, so we feel the pangs of hunger as well. And when you feel it, we shed tears when you shed it. We are not happy with the insecurity situation, but it could have been worse. And a lot of interventions have been made from the legislature to the executive. A lot of steps have been taken to make sure that we cushion the impact of what is being felt around the nation at the moment. And it may not be El Dorado, but are we taking the right steps at the right time? The answer is yes. And time will not allow me to catalog all the various steps we have taken, both as Parliament and the Executive, in collaboration with the Parliament, legislative interventions, which are novel innovations that have not been in place before now, just to bridge this gap that affects you and affects us. Are we going to get there? The answer is yes. How? By consolidating on our gains, that we have already achieved so far. And it is this convention that will help us, people who are hungry, people who have felt the pain, to assist in selecting those whose manifesto reflects solution to this our Hydra-headed needs, because we are not going to choose any person who is indifferent to the pains of Nigerian people. Through this convention, through the participation of the delegates who are coming from all over Nigeria, from all the local government in Nigeria, we'll be able to vote according to our needs and who has the capacity to meet their needs. From getting it right at the party level, I can assure you, it is one of the political processes pre-election, that's supposed to be carefully taken care of, so that by the time we get to the main election, the right individuals will be produced by the system that have been rightfully chosen. Because if we get it right, by getting the right candidates in place through transparent, competitive, inclusive, credible, democratic process, I can assure you Nigerians will be having the square pegs for the square hole, the round pegs for the round hole. That is when these problems will begin to be, get solution. It will not be solved in a day. Nobody has the magic wand. But as President Buhari and this administration tried, I will be back to this station and I promise you, I will give you the catalog, not from the executive. Coming from the legislative arm, I will tell you what we have oversighted on the executive, the step they have taken so far, and which is very beneficial to Nigerian people. Time will not allow me to do that. But let's have confidence. Let's be hopeful that the process we are putting in place, they are democratic. They will bring us closer to the point of our solution.
Okay. Let's try again for the phones from Abia. We have Rex. Rex, thank you for calling in. Go ahead.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hello.
Yes, Rex, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Good evening. My name is Rex from Abuja State. Oko Kitten to be precise.
Go on.
Yeah, I want to first thank Honorable Ben for the dividend of democracy he has provided for people of Abuja State, and Ben that will be precise. And I hope the forthcoming convention becomes a success. I want to plead that you people provide us with leadership with integrity that will be able to put people who are not into politics for their selfish reasons. And please, Honorable Ben, I want to ask for a favor. Can the state APC be discussed in this convention, or maybe in the upper level? Because looking at the APC in other states, it's not something I am happy about. So please, I want to ask that you guys resolve this issue so that coming back to the state, you can be able to work together and produce world leadership according to the zoning and equity of the Abia state. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you very much, Rex. Well, Honorable.
Yeah, Rex, thank you for calling, and your point was straight to the point, was straight on. I appreciate your interest in making sure we have a healthy APC in Abia State. Yes, after Congress, you have problems, which is normal in political setting. Like, if you have followed my program every Tuesday on radio, you know that I've taken the uniting force, option, where I want to build a bridge between the people who are complaining about issues in Abia APC. We're not leaving it there. Even up to this morning, we are engaging with some of the role players, the stakeholders, and it's going to continue by tomorrow. I'm seeing some of them, and there is this willingness to get to come together and move forward. So all the dissenting opinion, all the people who are complaining, all the people who felt marginalized, all the people who felt that the process was not well done, we're going to make sure that everybody comes to the table and we move forward as a party. That is the spirit of the new APC, and that is the spirit that will, the spirit of unity, the spirit of togetherness, the spirit of progress. So we are going to achieve that not only at the national level. I can assure you, APC Abia State will be okay by the time we are done, even during the convention.
Okay, we have calling in from Lagos, Lanry. Go ahead, Lanry.
Good morning, sir. Hello?
Yes, go ahead. Thank you.
Good morning, sir.
Right, go ahead.
My name is Olario, calling from Lagos.
Right.
My own opinion is that about good leadership. Please, it's 2023. We need a good leadership. A good leadership that will take us to a good destination. We want a good leadership that will repair what have spoiled in this country. In situation of diesel, now we are buying a liter of diesel 65 per liter. And we are doing a land work. How do we cope? So please, we want in this 2023, we want APC to give us a good leader, a young man that will take us to a good destination. Please, I beg you in the name of God, we want a trustworthy person, a man, a God-fearing that will take us to a good destination. That is my own contribution, sir.
Thank you very much, Larry. Well, let's go over to Dr. Ray Murphy. It would seem that from all the calls, there's been one factor that has come up again and again, and that's the one to do with good governance, responding to the aspirations of the citizens, and addressing the numerous challenges from security to the economy, to all of that. That's resonated throughout in virtually all the questions that have been raised tonight. And so the question on the bigger picture would be, can this APC take on these issues and provide the leadership from the party level? Because yes, the party has provided the government, so can this party do it?
I want to thank again all those who have called in. But let me just go back to, let's talk about what a convention really is. A convention is a leadership recruitment exercise. A convention is a renewal exercise of the leadership of a party. And you remember it's the leadership of a party that also sets up the leadership of the persons who go into elected positions. So first of all, this convention is a process of renewing the leaders, getting new leaders to run the system. So I want to give everyone who has called in hope, because when you have the right people, when you have the right gatekeepers like my friend Cyril there, when you have the right, in new system, the right gatekeeper gives you the best news. So the convention creates opportunities for the right level of persons to man strategic party offices, which will lead, in turn lead to running a better party. Now let's go to ethics. I was privileged to be a guest of some embassy in the last 2 weeks, and the discussion was political party formations. And they spoke about the strength of their democracy arising from the strength of their political parties. And they were wondering how they were going to be able to transfer that capacity for us to run strong parties with ethics, which includes creating leadership institutes within parties that teach civics, teach economics, teach social sciences, teach psychology, teach communication. That is how some democracies have so developed that the political parties are actually instruments of developing leadership. Now, in this era, APC, I can say proudly, is moving towards that point. Leadership recruitment is a function of conventions. Everybody is talking about renewed leadership. That's what a convention is. And that is why we're throwing it open to everyone who wishes to participate. And I can tell you, if I look at my documentation, there are up to 300 persons who are offering themselves to serve the Nigerian people through party offices. APC is going to make an effort. The members of APC are going to make an effort. The leaders are going to make an effort to put in the right people in these positions, because we recognize that leadership is a serious business. And APC is going back to the era where leaders are those who study, those who read, where leaders are those who make an effort to understand the issues of the people. So I believe that the APC is in the right frame of mind. And Cyril, remember you asked about the hiccups we had around 2 years ago that led to this caretaker committee. Some parties will have that kind of problem and refuse to make changes. But it came to a point where the leadership of the party had a disconnect from the people of the party. And it led to a crescendo of thoughts and opinions which led to these changes. So I think APC is evolving a democratic ethos, and we will keep doing it. And I want to assure those who listen to us that as much as they have passion for this country, we have passion. I mean, most of us seated here would have had an opportunity to leave. But no, we are here. We're interested in our country. We're interested in making sure that our country becomes better. And there's no other way in a democratic system of doing it than to join a political party. And when you join a political party, you make an effort to be a contributor to the pool of ideas that run a political party. And this is where the APC currently is number one.
Right.
We're not dealing about thuggery. We're not talking down other people. We are looking at the best way to put the right foot forward to lead our country in such a way that our citizens can begin to enjoy the benefits that this rich country can give.
Thank you. Okay, and the next caller, I believe, is from Port Harcourt. Yes, and Sonny calling in from Port Harcourt. Thank you for staying on. Go ahead.
Hello?
Go ahead. Hello. Hello, Sonny from Port Harcourt. Go ahead.
Hello?
Hello, go on.
Yeah, good morning.
Right.
Please, my name is Sonny Gospower.
Okay.
Okay. Shit.
Yes, Sonny Gospower, go ahead. Okay.
Hello?
Hello.
Yes. Hello?
Sonny Gospower, you're on.
Okay. Please, I want to ask if this APC government can help us to give us the credible leaders that can make our refineries work. Okay? And secondly, education is key in every society. I want them to seize this opportunity to give us leaders that will stand for education, because we are talking about the sustainable future of our people. Okay? And the poor masses, they are suffering. I know it's not the product of this government alone. It's something that is accumulated. But they should try to help the poor masses of Nigeria so that things can be well for us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, Sonny from Port Harcourt. Well, echoing the same issues that have been raised earlier on, Honorable, and many of the callers want reassurance and want to be certain that the issues will be addressed. That's a pointer that
I agree with you.
A lot of things need to be done, isn't it?
I agree with you, and I also agree with them that we are in search of quality leadership that will continue, from the work we have done so far, and we are not blinking in searching for this quality leadership. The processes have been in place because all the thin line running through all these calls says credible leadership with integrity. And the only way you can select that is through credible election process, credible process during the convention. And we have opened that space. And like Dr. Ray mentioned previously, the screening committee is going on now. So everybody's given the opportunity to bring what qualifies you to run for this position. Let's check. And we are moving forward. I can assure Nigerians, be confident. The process we are bringing on board during this convention will satisfy most of the objective-minded individuals in this country. And it will be a foundation to the greater good of our nation. Because through this platform, candidates will emerge who will continue raising the flag for national growth.
Okay, as we begin to wind down this part of it, how far with compliance to the electoral laws regarding the interests in party positions and, again, the greater interest in the positions of leadership in the country? How far has this upcoming convention complied with the laws?
Yeah, I must first give credit to this government for supporting electoral reform, because we are talking about the Electoral Act today because Mr. President signed it. If it was not signed by Mr. President, we will have nothing to talk about. The agitation would have been different. The dynamics of the discussion or the conversation would have been different. The civil society organization would have been calling us all sort of badness. But the political will of our party, has shown that we want to advance our democracy. And that was why the collaboration between the executive and the legislature have been able to birth a quality electoral act amendment bill that has become an act by the signing of Mr. President, which many people believe that Mr. President was not going to sign it. There is no how Mr. President will sign this piece of legislation. And under his watch, there will be no compliance. I can assure you that we want to be one of the first political platforms to test the integrity of the processes laid down in this electoral act. And it is starting from this convention. And I can assure you, our monitoring and evaluation team in the party has okayed all our processes up till now. And I can assure you, that is how it's going to be pre-election, during the general election, and post-election. Compliance all the way, because we know with effective compliance, we are going to achieve a lot in advancing our democracy.
All right, Dr. Ray Murphy, but there is still some gray area in the Electoral Act, and this might, in the long run, impact the result of this upcoming convention. What do you say about that? What is the party's thinking on this?
There's been a recent judgment on some of the aspects of the Electoral Act as regarding the office holders. And as we know, the subsisting judgment is the state of the situation right now. But having said that, it is very clear that as a law-abiding party, APC will do everything in its power to obey the laws that have been also made by an APC-led legislature and signed by an APC president. Having said that, we believe that our party, unlike other parties, is very law-abiding, very willing to obey the laws, and any gray areas may be subject to definition, refinement through the court processes. And it's already been tested, even as we speak. That's my answer to that.
I would like it.
Okay, all right. Well, I know this part of it. It's easy to just say what I'm coming up with now is before the law courts, and therefore you might not want to discuss it, but I'm not looking at the case now. I'm looking at the feeling in the party where there might be a chance, depending on how this goes. A number of people, you've asked many Nigerians to come over to the party, your party. You've also asked people from other parties who were once in the opposition have also come over here. But it would seem that quite a number of these people are standing on shaky grounds right now. What does that make the party think?
Like you rightly pointed out, this is it sub judice or sub judice? One. So it's sub judice. The facts are clear. The judiciary, they have a responsibility of fine-tuning our processes. And we know that the Supreme Court is a policy court. So where we are now, the judiciary is fine-tuning those processes, but whatever the outcomes become, it will help to develop our political space, our democratic culture, whatever it is. So we are watching it. The process is ongoing. We hope and pray, we believe that at the end of the day, everybody will learn quite a few things from it, strengthen our democracy. But like you yourself said, it is sub judice.
All right. Honorable Benjamin Kalu, what's the thinking here? The party, well, you're not discussing the case directly. There's a case in court. So
I'm not discussing the case directly, but there are questions, that that decision has given birth to, and whether or not the people who made the law were parties to that case. Is that case going to stand on technical grounds or not? The issue of jurisdiction, was there forum shopping or not? In consideration of section 66(1) sub F, and Section 182, 1 sub G, among other kindred, provisions there. Are they actually relevant in determining what was described in Section 318 as public servants and who are public servants, and as allowed by the provisions of the Constitution that 66, 182, and all of them refer to, as against Section 84, subsection 12 of the Electoral Act that referred not to the public servant, but to political appointees. That demarcation, that differentiation, was it properly looked into? Was Section 318 considered in the process of bringing out that judgment? Did it really offend Section 40 that had to do with, association, freedom of association, and all the rest of them? Section 38 that had to do with, religion and conscience and all the rest of association, or Section 42 that had to do non-discriminatory element that must be there. All these things are irrelevant based on what we are not dealing with the case, but we're just analyzing as laymen. Section 318 says who is a public servant, and does political appointees express in 84:12 reflect public servant? If the answer is yes, the court will decide alongside. If it is no, so it appears that the National Assembly has raised this question among them. The next step that will be taken by the National Assembly is to consider why were they not joined as necessary party to that particular litigation, because they have a case. They made the law. Where the rules of natural justice on fair hearing, was it really upheld? Where the relevant parties were, though the plaintiff supposed to add who's supposed to be a party as a defender, but the judge, does he have the right so moto to say, add this or add that person, because they have a role to play in interpreting the legislative intention, and all those things are the question in the mind of the legislature. But I'm sure we have a competent judicial system that has the capacity to interpret that. So there is no fear. What the point I want to raise here is that we will, as usual, be compliant to the decision of the judiciary. The right of appeal has not been foreclosed, and 90 days is allowed by the High Court rules. So I'm sure by the time it goes through the appellate courts, definitely it will be defined clearly. And once it is defined, all the parties who are either for or antagonistic to will all buy in, as usual, for national growth.
All right. Thank you very much. And so, last lap, we can't end this without asking Ibim Seminitari to finally tell us how ready all the members from the point of view of the Media and Publicity Committee are for Saturday. Say it one more time for us.
Already has said it. Everyone is ready. All activities are actually in top gear. And I think that the convention will come, it will go, it will be smooth. But just to make a point, Cyril, and I think that that's a point I'd like to make strongly, is the fact that all of those who have spoken about the pain, about what they feel, are speaking as people who are hurting. And, I like the fact that they know that we too are Nigerians like they are. We buy from the same market, so we do understand. Especially Mr. President himself had come out to say to Nigerians that he feels their pain, he understands what they're going through, and he apologized for the situation that Nigerians find themselves. He also made a commitment to ensure that we have progress going forward. He made a commitment to see what we could do within the confines of our realities to ensure that we lessen the pain that Nigerians feel. And I think that for us, as a party, that really is where we're looking at, to look at what are those things we can do to make life easier for everyone, because we ourselves feel that pinch. And I think that it's a point that is important to make. Mr. President is aware, and the leadership of the APC is aware, and the leadership of the APC is striving to ensure that every Nigerian sleeps better at night.
All right, and it is on that note we'll say thank you so very much for being on this program. We thank you for sharing your thoughts with us. Thanks also to Dr. Ray Murphy. Thank you for being here as well. And also to Honorable Benjamin Kalu, Chairman, House Committee on Media and Publicity. All three guests are members of the Media and Publicity Committee for the APC convention, which is slated for Saturday. I'd like to thank you for being on this program.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right. And it's also thanks to you for being part of the program too. Next week, we'll be back with NTA Tuesday Live. I'm Cyril Stover. Continue to stay safe.